A serious international development is unfolding after confirmed military exchanges increase tension across parts of the Middle East, prompting the United States to issue a shelter-in-place advisory in 5 countries. The precautionary order has drawn global attention as governments assess possible economic and security implications. For Nigerians at home and abroad, developments like this often influence energy markets, travel confidence, and international stability. Here is what has happened so far and why this moment is being watched closely around the world. A major international security development is unfolding, drawing global attention far beyond the Middle East after confirmed military exchanges between the United States and Iran heightened regional tension. Following these developments, U.S. authorities issued a shelter-in-place advisory across 5 countries in the region as a precautionary measure aimed at protecting personnel and citizens. Governments are monitoring the situation closely, financial markets are reacting cautiously, and observers around the world are asking one key question: how serious is this moment, and what could it mean for global stability? In this report, we break down what has happened so far, why the advisory was issued after the recent strikes, and why the world, including Nigerians at home and abroad, is paying close attention. If you value clear and balanced global updates explained in simple English, kindly like this video and subscribe to the channel for reliable political news and analysis. The core facts are now clearer. Reports confirm that limited military strikes were carried out amid rising tension between the United States and Iran. Officials on both sides have described their actions as security responses tied to ongoing regional concerns, while international leaders continue urging restraint to prevent further escalation. Following these developments, U.S. authorities issued a shelter-in-place directive affecting personnel and citizens in multiple Middle Eastern countries. A shelter-in-place order typically instructs individuals to remain indoors temporarily and limit movement while security assessments continue. Such measures are precautionary and are commonly implemented when governments believe uncertainty levels have increased after a serious development. Importantly, the advisory was presented as a preventive safety step rather than a signal of wider conflict. Schools, businesses, and essential services in many affected areas continue operating, although security awareness has been heightened across diplomatic missions and international facilities. According to official briefings, the decision followed a period of increasing diplomatic strain, military positioning, and recent exchanges that raised concern about potential escalation. Analysts say advisories like this are designed to reduce exposure during sensitive moments while diplomatic and intelligence evaluations continue behind the scenes. Political observers describe the current situation as one of strategic caution rather than immediate confrontation. Diplomatic channels remain active, and several countries have called for calm dialogue to stabilize the situation and prevent further deterioration. To understand why this matters, it helps to look at how global security decisions are made. Governments rely on intelligence reports, diplomatic communications, and risk evaluations. When uncertainty increases, even without confirmed incidents, authorities sometimes act early rather than react late. This approach reflects lessons learned from past international crises. Early precaution can reduce risk exposure and reassure citizens that governments are actively monitoring developments. Political analysts describe the situation as a period of strategic caution rather than immediate confrontation. Diplomatic channels remain open, and several countries have called for calm dialogue to prevent escalation. International partners are encouraging restraint and continued negotiations. For Nigerians watching from abroad, especially those living in the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, or Europe, developments like this can influence travel advisories, energy prices, and global economic confidence. Even distant geopolitical tension can affect exchange rates, fuel costs, and investment decisions that ultimately impact everyday life back home. Nigeria's economy is closely connected to global energy markets. When tensions rise in major oil-producing regions, market uncertainty can influence crude prices. That, in turn, may affect government revenue projections, inflation pressures, and public spending discussions. Back home in Nigeria, policymakers also watch international developments carefully because global security shifts often reshape diplomatic priorities. Foreign policy decisions, trade negotiations, and regional cooperation strategies can all be influenced by broader geopolitical trends. Another important point is information management. In today's digital age, news travels instantly, and speculation can spread faster than verified facts. That is why responsible communication from governments and media organizations is essential. Officials often choose cautious language to avoid unnecessary fear while still encouraging awareness. Security experts emphasize that shelter-in-place advisories are preventive tools, not predictions. They allow authorities to maintain readiness while investigations or diplomatic discussions continue behind the scenes. Historically, similar advisories have been issued during moments of uncertainty that later resolved through negotiation rather than confrontation. This context helps explain why international observers remain watchful but measured in their reactions. Financial markets have also responded carefully. Investors tend to monitor geopolitical developments closely because uncertainty can influence global trade flows and investor confidence. However, analysts note that markets typically stabilize when communication remains transparent and diplomatic engagement continues. Another layer of this story involves international alliances. The Middle East remains a strategically important region due to energy supply routes, trade corridors, and long-standing political relationships. Actions taken there often attract worldwide attention because of their potential ripple effects. For Nigerians in the diaspora, stability in global systems matters because many work in sectors linked to international trade, logistics, healthcare, and finance. Changes in global risk perception can influence employment conditions, migration policies, and economic planning abroad. Back in Nigeria, citizens often ask whether distant geopolitical developments truly affect local realities. The answer is yes, indirectly but meaningfully. Fuel pricing discussions, currency pressures, and import costs can all be shaped by international events. Security scholars also point out that modern diplomacy focuses heavily on deterrence and prevention. By issuing advisories early, governments signal awareness without escalating rhetoric. This balance helps maintain stability while encouraging dialogue among involved parties. Meanwhile, regional governments have continued engaging through diplomatic channels. Statements released so far emphasize cooperation, monitoring, and the importance of avoiding misunderstandings that could increase tension unnecessarily. Media coverage worldwide reflects a cautious tone. Most reports focus on preparedness rather than alarm, highlighting that preventive measures are part of normal international security practice. It is also worth noting that global institutions often step in quietly during such periods. Multilateral organizations facilitate communication between nations, helping ensure that disagreements remain within diplomatic frameworks. For younger viewers trying to understand global politics, this moment offers an important lesson. International relations often move through phases of tension and negotiation before reaching resolution. Headlines may sound dramatic, but outcomes frequently depend on diplomacy rather than confrontation. Public reaction across social media has been mixed. Some users express concern, while others call for patience until more verified information emerges. Experts encourage audiences to rely on credible updates instead of speculation. From a governance perspective, transparency will be key in the coming days. Governments are expected to provide updates as assessments continue. Clear communication helps maintain public trust and prevents misinformation from shaping public perception. Observers also highlight the role of strategic messaging. Words chosen by leaders can influence market reactions, diplomatic relationships, and public confidence. Careful language often signals an effort to reduce tension rather than intensify it. For Nigeria, maintaining balanced foreign relations remains important. The country engages with multiple global partners, and stability in international systems supports trade, security cooperation, and economic planning. As events develop, analysts will watch three main indicators: diplomatic engagement levels, official security updates, and economic responses from global markets. These factors usually reveal whether tensions are easing or continuing. At this stage, the situation remains fluid but controlled. No widespread disruptions have been confirmed, and precautionary measures appear aimed at preparedness rather than emergency response. What many citizens around the world want now is clarity. People want reassurance that dialogue remains active and that leaders are prioritizing stability. History shows that sustained communication between nations often prevents misunderstandings from escalating. For Nigerians abroad, staying informed through credible sources is especially important. Travel plans, business decisions, and financial expectations can sometimes be influenced by global developments, even when impacts are indirect. Ultimately, this story reflects how interconnected today's world has become. A security advisory issued thousands of kilometers away can still shape conversations, markets, and policy discussions across continents. As investigations and diplomatic discussions continue, updates are expected from international authorities. Analysts believe the coming days will provide clearer direction regarding regional stability and future policy decisions. Before we conclude, if you appreciate balanced global analysis explained in clear and simple English, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss important political updates. For now, the key takeaway is this: the United States has issued a precautionary shelter-in-place advisory across 5 Middle Eastern nations following rising tensions. Officials describe the move as preventive, diplomatic engagement remains ongoing, and the international community continues to monitor developments carefully. We will continue following this story and provide updates as new verified information becomes available. Stay informed, stay calm, and continue supporting responsible discussions that promote understanding in an increasingly connected world.